Good afternoon, traders. I apologize for being a moment late. I was answering emails and honest to goodness, lost track of time. So how are y'all doing today? I hope your Wednesday is going great. Let's see who is here. Tug is here. Michael, howdy, good to see you. Peter's here. Randy, Jean-Louis, Donna, Dave, and Wes. Hey, everybody. Glad you're all here. Let me think where I want to start. I'll start with what I just clicked on just a moment ago. Breaking: the deep state is freaking out over a Trump return. Let's see. Let's just see how much the deep state's freaking out.
From the nation of Japan, visiting Pennsylvania over the weekend to show their support for Donald J. Trump as the 47th president of these United States. And there are now reports that even the deep state, the bureaucrats in permanent Washington, are freaking out and starting to look for new jobs. We're going to see the latest panic in the swamp.
Drain the swamp. That's what I say. They says just had to sit through a she who shall not be named commercial before this video started. They ought to know better than to advertise on this.
What it all means for November. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. You know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell. And
so this is Dr. Steve Turley. Actually, I really like his channel. I think in real life he's probably a huge goober, but I like his channel.
Subscribe button. Unfortunately, until inauguration day of January of next year, I'm saddened to say that I think we all recognize that we are indeed living in a new realm of tyranny. The three largest pharmaceutical companies in the nation are taking aim at taking a new supplement away from you. It's three letters, NMN. They want to turn NMN into the
gonna be an ad. Yeah, totally an ad.
Power, fighting values. Then 3 weeks.
Here we go.
Powers that be. Click on that link below right now.
Okay, on that topic, one of our other outliers, Dr. Sinclair, he hasn't been a while. If Dr. Sinclair, if you hear this, text me because he's my doctor. He is a huge advocate of NMN, by the way. This is one that you should research and check out, by the way.
Wow.
But Randy says, Kamala, what? Whoa, they're getting desperate. If they're trying to advertise to the outliers, they're getting real desperate.
All right, so with less than 3 weeks left until the big day, we could see from the Real Clear Politics polling aggregate, that's where RCP averages out all of the polling and the different vectors of the electorate. And as we can see here, courtesy of Eric Doherty, Trump is polling significantly stronger in every single vector leading into Election Day. Nationally, he's up over 7 points from where he was in 2020. In Pennsylvania, he's up nearly 6 points. In Michigan, it's even more dramatic. He's up over 8 points since 2020. In Wisconsin, he's up over 6. In Arizona, he's up 5. And in Georgia, he's up by almost 3. Kamala's numbers continue to plunge. The latest Marquette poll is Trump taking the national lead after showing Harris with a +4 just a couple of weeks back.
Look at that. So Trump is up 50 to 49. So a 0.4% increase over her. But the last poll, Harris was up 4 over him. That's a huge move right there. That's 10%, give or take. That's a big move.
The latest Morris poll is showing Trump now with a double-digit lead among independents, 54 to 44.
I don't know this poll or whatever, but 10 percentage points over her. Let's go. By the way, I'm just gonna let you know we're in the last few weeks of the election cycle, and as you know, this dude likes to watch politics a hell of a lot more than sports. So don't be surprised if we do a whole lot more politics in the meantime when I'm not trading. And if that's not your style of politics, don't worry. We'll be back to trading as soon as we get a chance.
And while I'm not particularly a fan of Polymarket, the betting odds site, because it's more reactive than predictive, but it is noteworthy that Trump has just soared to his highest lead ever, 60 to 39, a dominant 20-point lead. Not surprisingly, he's leading in all the swing states, every single one, including Nevada, where no Republican has won in 20 years since 2004.
Good point right here. Don't get complacent. Use this as motivation to get out and vote. I feel like that was what happened in 2022. There was this whole red wave was going to happen, and it didn't happen. right? The voters did not come out and give you the red wave, and I think a lot of it was complacency. People looking at it saying, "Oh, well, what can I do?" Right? Your vote counts. Go make it count.
A conservative estimate, conservative projection has the electoral map looking like this as of today, based on all the polling. If you're listening by way of our 20 million podcast downloads, Trump is winning on this graph with just over 300 electoral votes, almost matching what he got in 2016. And interestingly, now we're beginning to see the political obituaries come out. A number of outlets want to be noted by the pundit class as the first to notice the Kamala collapse. So Politico has a piece out today lamenting Kamala losing Pennsylvania, claiming that she doesn't have much of a ground game in the Keystone State. In other words, she's losing. Pennsylvania's slipped beyond her grasp, which means it's over at a national level. You got The Hill publishing this headline, 4 reasons why Harris is losing. And just a few days before that, again from The Hill, Democrats start to hit the panic button. Harry Enton over at CNN is warning that things are looking very dire.
Dude, Democrats hit the panic button a couple months ago, and they're like, "Oh, Joe Biden really is too old. Maybe we got to pull him." You remember the debate? Man, I'll never forget the debate. We went out with my family to a family event, right? I don't know, like something with one of the cousins or whatever. And on the way back, we stopped at Saltgrass Steakhouse, and they had the TVs going on at Saltgrass, and it was the debate, and I couldn't hear it, and they didn't have the subtitles on, so I pulled it up on my phone, and found one of the streamers that was doing it, and I could read the subtitles. And do you remember Joe Biden? He was like, "Where am I?" I mean, like totally spaced out, right? I think that's when they hit the panic button, and they threw Kamala in there. I don't know why, but the thing that I keep going back to is legitimately looking at this. Do we actually think that this lady has the most qualifications, that there is no other person on, I'm going to say half, there's no other person in half the United States that's more qualified to take on the role than she is? Give me a break. That's where I think that is where they broke down. It's like, why in the world did they choose her to succeed Joe Biden? And I know that you probably can't Google this anymore because this is 1984 and they erase history, but she was polling as the least favored VP ever in politics, in modern politics. A week before she was installed, there was no voting, before she was installed as the Democrat nominee. A week before, they were saying she should drop from Joe Biden's ticket. That's how bad it was. And now somehow half the country thinks that she's the best person for the job. I cannot stand this political gaslighting, which makes me want to watch all this even more. Tug says, and they always oversample Democrats in those polls. Her numbers are far worse than Biden. I hope so, Randy. I hope when we go to the polls, it is the biggest blowout since Reagan. Reagan won listen, this is before my time. Reagan won every state except Minnesota. Could you imagine what that would be like? Oh man. That would give me goosebumps that night for sure.
You got Mark Halperin predicting the single biggest mental health crisis in American history if Trump wins. You got James Carville over there, the Raging Cajun. He's having a visible meltdown on live TV. They all seem to be seeing the same thing. She is losing. And now we're getting reports from Politico that DC bureaucratic employees, the swamp creatures themselves, are currently panicking and preparing to hunt for new jobs as the election looms. Quote, federal employees throughout the executive branch are panicking at the thought of another Trump administration. Former President Donald Trump has pledged to, quote, demolish the deep state. His running mate, Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance, has said Trump ought to fire every civil servant in the administrative state. It's not just campaign trail bluster. In the waning days of his first administration, Trump sought to make it easier to fire federal employees, a move that was quickly reversed by the Biden, and I'll put in Harris administration. Now, what they're talking about there is an executive order that Trump signed. I believe it was his last executive order that he signed in his first term. It's called Schedule F. And what Schedule F does to the deep state is basically, this is something I like to say often on this channel, it's basically like what Order 66 was to the Jedis, right? For you Star Wars fans.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I know that reference. That's axe everybody who's a Jedi.
So Order 66 was a top secret order identifying all Jedi as traitors to the Galactic Republic, and therefore they had to be eliminated. Well, metaphorically, Schedule F functions very much the same way. It reassigns federal bureaucrats in D.C. as Schedule F employees, which in effect strips away all of their employment protection, thereby enabling...
Brian asks, isn't the VP a civil servant position? Sounds like you know more than I do. By the way,
president
good to see you, Brian.
To fire tens of thousands of deep state bureaucrats. Some are estimating Trump could fire upwards of 60,000 government workers literally on day one.
Nah, surely not. Surely not. 60,000. That's got to be fear mongering right there. 60,000 people is a lot to put out. Now, he could let go of the new 87,000 IRS agents, and I think all of us would feel a little bit better about that. Maybe of the 87,000, they're going to let 60,000 of those go. That I'm behind. Let's go.
Of his second term, which would be astonishing for sure. But according to Politico, it's absolutely freaking out permanent Washington. And when all is said and done, it's because they're seeing the polls. They're seeing the polls, and they're seeing the results in their own backyard. Have you seen the voting results, the early voting results coming out of Virginia, particularly Northern Virginia? Republican turnout is through the roof. It's significantly higher now than it was back in 2021, at this time in 2021, when Glenn Youngkin went on to win the governor's race. Virginia's been voting for weeks now, and everyone's been waiting for, especially Democrats. Oh, just wait. The Democrat vote will come out. It'll come out in spades. It'll squash the Republican vote. Everybody's been waiting for the Democrats to rise up and blow the Republicans out of the water, and it simply hasn't happened. In fact, Virginia just keeps getting more and more red. And Trump doesn't have to win Virginia. That's not the point. If Cackle's Kamala is struggling in Virginia, which she is, if the early vote in Virginia is inordinately Republican, that foreshadows a comparably inordinate Republican turnout in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin that all have far more Republicans than Virginia. And by the way, it's exactly what we're seeing in Arizona and Georgia right now. The Republicans are coming out in spades.
Not only that, but like, have you seen like the Coachella? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Just real quick, right quick. Have you seen the Coachella rally? Like, this is deep blue California. And it was like a million people out there for him.
Donald Trump campaigned today in Coachella, the desert town best known for its music festivals. Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards has more on the rally from LA County.
There's another channel I like. State. He covered it. Oh wait, there it was. Where did it go? Coachella, 100,000
Trump's
people.
rally at Coachella was a huge success. In deep blue California, Trump was able to draw one of his largest crowds yet. The campaign just announced that over...
Yes. Do you actually think that they would have a rally anywhere close to that size?
Migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins.
No, I don't think so. There was one where it was this video of them panning like the line of people. No, I don't see it. Let me try one more video. I know this is what you came to see. I know this is why you're here today. Maybe it was this one. Where's it at? Here, I think they said it was the longest line that NBC News had ever seen ever. Trump rally longest line of all time. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Either way, this is from July. Yeah, point is, you're not going to say anything like that for Kamala. No way, Jose. Let's see what else is going on. Randy says, put the 87,000 IRS agents on the southern border. Well, I'll tell you what, that would probably solve some problems, without a doubt. Dave says, speaking of Star Wars, Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, was a Texas resident. Yeah, smart dude. He was a friend of a friend and an amazing guy. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that. Very neat. Brian says, fire OSHA, FDA, SEC, IRS, FBI, ATF, and make it a free-for-all. Randy says, wow, nice. Could be Reagan 2.0. I hope so. Jeez. Tug says, if you remember the 2020 primaries, she was so far down in the polls, she dropped out without winning one primary vote. That's the thing, dude. Kamala has never had, or Kamala, I don't really give two shits what her name is. Kamala has not ever got a vote ever. Yet somehow, 49.8% of the American public thinks she is the right person for the job to be president of the United States. I'm sorry. The math is not mathing for me here. She was the first loser. And Trump's already beat Joe Biden once at the debate. It was brutal. I mean, it was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. Remember when that was a promise or a campaign thing that all the news stations were saying, oh my God, if Trump wins, it's going to be a bloodbath. That's what happened at the debate. Anyway, let's jump right into our market analysis. All right. Welcome to the Outlier Trading Room. This is smart trading, a little bit of politics made simple. This is where we save time, make money, start winning with less risk together as a team. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm your rich Uncle Chris. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I've been successfully trading since 2009. I'm a partner with Outlier, and this is my side of trading using Outlier. And boy, do I have something cool to show you. So Mahesh was showing us the 3.0 this morning. So I don't have it in dev yet. Once I do, it's on like Donkey Kong. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I'm going to show you this in just a second. Brian says, why hasn't Trump mentioned rebuilding the wall or making Mexico pay for it? I don't know. I mean, Kamala's been running that in her campaign ads, right? Trump's literal wall has been in her campaign ads saying how she's going to fix the border. Weren't you the one who went on TV saying the border is secure? The border is secure, but yet she's running on fixing the border. Weird. So weird. Bring it, man. Can beat you in golf any day. Okay, so let's take a look at the 3.0. So this is a screenshot. I told Mahesh I was going to take this screenshot, so he shouldn't be too surprised. And oh, and goodness. Now, let's just give a little bit of context. Mahesh got into my TrendSpider account. I gave him my login. And so Mahesh has been trading along in there. And while he was in there, he's like, "Ooh, you know what? They have figured out some really, really good stuff." And so Mahesh is like, maybe we could do something like that. So here is what it's going to look like. This is going to be like your default view on any stock. So let's say, for example, this is Apple. Actually, let me do this. Let me take a screen grab of this, and then I'll write all over it. In fact, while he was showing me this morning, me and Mark were really grilling him on, are we going to have this? Are we going to have that? What does this mean? Things like that. So I'm looking at it as a power user, right? Just like you're going to be. So first, you're going to see the buy and sell signals up here. You're going to have the ability to filter on or off the signals. If you don't want to see the signals, you'll be able to turn them off, and you can just look at the chart. Your call. You're also going to have up here EMAs, right? So you're going to be able to have like the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, whatever the case is. You'll be able to add in your EMAs onto the chart right on there, which is going to be really cool. Very excited about that. So this is the heat map we're already familiar with. This is the the price trajectory oscillator. And I was really stoked to see that we're going to move this out of the charts because, by the way, we got a buy signal on the Dow Jones today. Let's go on that one. I was really stoked to see that moving out of the charts because it kind of gets buried. It's kind of treated like a moving average by a lot of people. I don't know how many people have said, hey, is that a moving average? Well, clearly, if you look at it, that's definitely not a moving average. But because it does kind of just like slot in the background, I don't think many people look at it or observe it. And so we're moving that into its own indicator, own lower indicator, which I'm very excited about. Then one thing on here, I was asking Mark, he said that the numbers on the price trajectory oscillator are not like the heat map, right? With the heat map, it goes from red 50 to red 0, green 0 to green 50, right? There's bounds like that. He said it could be very different. He was giving examples. He's like Coke and Tesla are my go-tos for a boring stock and an exciting stock. He said Coke might have lower values of 3 and 10, right? The lowest value is 3, the highest value is 10. Whereas Tesla might have a value of 47 and 250. And I'm like, well, listen, we got an issue with that, right? If we have different scales like that, we've got to normalize those scales, right? So what I think is going to be is a 0 to 100 scale, which would be really cool. Mark's concern was if today the value on Coke was a 10.0 and tomorrow the value on Coke is a 10.5, well, yesterday it would show 100% and today it would show a 100%. And then yesterday it would then show like a 99%. And I'm like, listen, I think people are going to get that, right? You've now eclipsed what was 100%. So the new 100% has been changed. So I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue, but I am excited because if we can normalize that value, I think that there is something to this where we can trade around this. In fact, Mark had the idea, which I'm really stoked about, was having, you know, the tick marks. Where's my mouse? The tick marks that we have here. As you can see, this is a screenshot. The tick marks that we have here for the different moving averages on the market breadth. The idea that we had was having a tick mark for the SPY and then a tick mark for the sector. Right, so you could be like, okay, what's the, and you can only do this if you normalize the values. What is the price trajectory for this stock? Let's say this stock is 85. And then let's say that we took the SPY and the SPY is looking like, and this one is maybe like 60. And then you take off the sector and then the sector is like 20. Right? If I see that, I know with a lot of certainty that there's a great chance that this particular stock is going to reverse. If the market's going down, the sector's going down, and somehow this stock hasn't caught it yet, maybe on the downfall. Or the inverse is true. This is the one stock that's holding up the sector and everybody's putting their money in it, right? I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I'm really excited to have that. So this is going to be a tremendous improvement. And so all of this is slated to be ready by the end of the month. Next is the market breadth that we're all grown accustomed to. If you put an Apple, right, AAPL up here, it's going to show Apple stuff and all these, and then it's going to show the tech sector over here. How cool is that? So you can go and see everything you'd want to know about that sector as part of the one view right here, all in one spot. Boom, boom, boom. And then let's say you want to look at XLF, the financials, right? XLF. That's going to show you everything you'd want to know about the financial sector. So it's going to be so cool to have that all in one place instead of looking in different spots. I'm very, very stoked about that. Then over here is going to be your news button. And then you can expand that and it'll come out and be like nearly full screen. Erase some of this real quick. So you can type in your stock and let's go back to Apple. And this was a request I had. Is you're going to see the news for Apple. Okay. Then you're going to see a news for that sector. And I was like, oh, dude, this is cool. So you can see everything that's Apple news, and then you can see any news that's hitting the sector. So if you're a news junkie, you're going to have everything in one spot. And then you're going to see the analyst ratings, right? So every stock has analysts out there that are following it, and they always release and say like, we've increased our price target on Apple to $350,000, right? And then you're going to see it right there. And you're going to see the change in the history and like that. And that's going to be so cool. I'm really, really excited about that. I may actually follow the news if it comes in. Then you're going to see the constituent map. which is the same one that we have in here already, right? So this is the constituent map in the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is just 30 stocks. So you're going to see like on December 15th, 2023, there was a lot of greed in here, not a lot of fear. And then let's just go to a different spot here. I gotta let the cursor. August 9th, 2024, pretty balanced, right? So that's going to be showing over here for your sectors. And then the directional volatility histogram. If you don't know what that is, it's if you're familiar with a standard distribution, right? 68% of the time you're within one standard distribution. Two standard distributions, I believe, is 97% of the time. 3 standard deviations is 99.97% of the time, which is 1 in 10,000. And so what this shows here is what the moves look like over time, right? So we have a few that are basically, this is positively skewed, right? Which is the market you would expect to be positively skewed. But we have some really, really big down moves as well, where we don't have really big up moves, right? These are crash type moves over here. Whereas these are like your normal day to day, the stock market goes up 10% a year kind of moves. So we are going to have that on all the stocks. We already have all that on the stocks already. It's just going to be moved over a little bit. Let me erase some drawing on here. Then you're going to have multiple lists. Now, this is going to be cool. This was a feature that you guys suggested, right? You're going to have the regular bull list, your favorites list, the bear list, and then you're going to have whatever list you want. You're going to have Tug's most awesome, coolest stocks of the day list. You're going to have Wes's Thursday picks list. You're going to have Dave's going to sell Iron Butterflies list, right? You're going to have whatever list you want. And that's going to be really cool. I'm excited about that. Then you've got some other stats on here that we've got on all the stocks. Don't worry about that. But then, you know how in TrendSpider, I can write notes on here, right? I do that all the time, right? Like I'm going to sell into strength at G15, right? Whatever. And then it gets just tagged onto the chart. We are going to have that over here. But this is really cool. Mahesh was really excited about this because he can tag it not just to the stock that we're looking at, but also overall. So you can filter right here to say, okay, show me just my stock, my notes for this stock, or show me all my notes, which I cannot do in TrendSpider. So I think that's a huge upgrade right there too. So this is going to be tremendous. Of course, it'll take a little bit of looking around, a little bit of getting used to, but this is really expanding what the platform does. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to find something in the data over here that will make our trading even better. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm really good at finding that kind of stuff. So just give it some time. Let us trade along with it, and let's see what we can find. Market breadth, uptrend and downtrend. We already covered that. I've got the breadth over here. This is the number of stocks that have the uptrend or downtrend overlays, like these green and red bars. And you can see that changing over time. That's going to be on there as well. So, man, it's going to be really cool. Sebastian made it. Wes says, thanks to you, Mark and Mahesh, for all the work you continually do, making this better and better. Dude, look, Wes, the thing is like we want to make a shitload of money with this. Okay, just to be crass. We trade with this. As you see, I trade with it. Mahesh trades with it. Mark trades with it. And the better we make it, the more money we make. And the better we make it for you, the more money you make. So it is in all of our best interest to make this the best thing possible. So yeah, we selfishly are making this awesome because we know just how much money this is going to earn all of us once we figure out every little detail that we possibly can, right? Dave says, this is looking amazing. Loving the upgrades. Texas, so cool. Randy, nice work. It's been getting better all the time. Yes, and it does sound great, Brian. Okay, so now that we've covered that, golden ticket trading strategy is pretty sweet. I'm going to skip a little bit of this, and I'm going to skip the member highlight. Don't forget, the first rule of OVTLYR is you tell everyone about OVTLYR. But I do want to go to the market, the 10 over 20 price over the 50, which we do have at the moment, 10 over 20 price over the 50. I did say yesterday that might have been the top. And of course, the thing is with trading, you have to be flexible, right? Clearly, I wasn't putting any money at risk there, but I was wrong. There is a once in a lifetime of that happening. At least that's what I tell my wife. I was wrong. We haven't hit the top quite yet. I think we're okay. We're in a bullish trend right now. And then the market breadth is flattening. And it looks like it could, I mean, honestly, with one strong breadth day, we're back to trading. It's that close. Today we had 37 new on the bull list, 41 new on the bear list. But once we cross the 10 EMA on this value here, I think it's game on. And I don't think we're going to have to wait very long for that. So let me catch up. I think somebody mentioned something on the Discord. Oh, Brian used order blocks and Trump's surge in the polls to take advantage of his stock pullback. Congratulations, Brian. Way to go. Hey, make sure, please, 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 to update the Discord all the time, right? This is our community aspect that we can do together, right? Let us know if you need anything in the Discord. We're always on it. I'm always on it. I'm always checking it on my phone or on the PC. So don't be shy, right? We're here for you, right? And don't forget the first rule of Outliers. You tell everyone about Outlier because we are going to take over the world. Trust me, the way that this is going, we're going to change finance. We are going to change the market. And you guys are in on the ground floor of this. So this is really cool. Hit the like button for me. I know you're already subscribed, but do me a favor, hit the like button for me. It lets YouTube tell everybody else just how great this is. And thank you so much for being an Outlier. Thanks so much for joining us here in the trading room today. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk soon.